Hey, how's it going? My name is Gabby. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my fall TBR video. It's my favorite time of year. Spooky season is here. And this video is going to include my TBR for the months of September and October. I'm going to be letting you know about so many things I have going on in these months because not only is my sister getting married in the month of September, but then also I have a trip coming up in October that I can't wait to tell you all about. And before we do jump into the rest of the video, I just wanted to take a second to thank today's video sponsor, which is Book of the Month. Because if you somehow have not yet heard about Book of the Month, then please let me be the one to tell you all about them. Book of the Month is a book subscription service for readers like you and I, and their mission is to bring the best new fiction forward, and that they do. So how this works is that every single month they post a selection of books. You get to choose from anywhere between like 5, even up to 7 selections. I don't know about you, but I get so excited to see what the selections are gonna end up being every month. It's like one of my most anticipated days of the month to find out what they'll be, because almost all of the time they have some of my most anticipated books of the year as monthly selections, and it makes me so excited. But then also just as often I'm hearing about these books that I've never even heard of before and probably never would have been on my radar otherwise. And I love discovering new books because of Book of the Month. They also choose from a wide variety of genres. Like they almost always have like a romance pick, a thriller pick, literary fiction. There's definitely something for everyone. They also offer the best prices on new hardcover fiction books, because I guarantee if you walk into any local bookstore right now, you're gonna find a new hardcover fiction book from anywhere to like $25, even up to $30. But this month, when you use the code JACKET, you can get your first book for just $5. Plus, you get a free hat of your choosing, and the Book of the Month hats are some of the cutest hats. Can I just say, I love the Book of the Month hats. I actually wear them everywhere. This month, I ended up choosing 2 different books. The first thing that I chose was Play Nice by Rachel Harrison, because this is a horror book that I am so freaking excited to read. It is pretty rare that Book of the Month will offer horror books, so anytime they do, I'm like snatching it up immediately. But this is definitely one of my most anticipated books of the entire year. I have such a fun time reading Rachel Harrison's books. And then the second book that I picked up is The Heartbreak Hotel, and this one is a romance book that I actually haven't heard of until it was featured as a selection, but now I am so excited to read it because it looks so cute. And thank you so much to Book of the Month for sponsoring today's video. So the first order of business that I need to let you know about is the Booktube book club. If you didn't know, I have a thriller and horror book club where we read a book together every single month, and then we have a live show on my channel to discuss it. And if you missed the announcement for the month of September, I had my Patreon vote between these 3 books here, and I'm so excited to let you know that How to Survive a Horror Story ended up winning this poll. It sounds like it's gonna be a really fun and chaotic time because it says 7 authors enter the manor. Can they survive the story within? It's about this legendary horror author who passes away, and then it says a group of writers find themselves invited to his last will and testament reading, and each one of them has their own connection to this author. It says they arrive at his grand manor and are invited to play a game. The rules are simple: solve the riddle and progress to the next room. If they don't, the manor will take one of them for itself. So it's like the house is like eating the people that are there. I don't know. It sounds like it's gonna be chaos, and I'm so excited to read this one. And I'm also very excited to let you know that I'm gonna be joined by 2 booktube friends for this live show. I'm gonna be joined by Ashley from Ashley's Little Library, as well as Allie from All I Do Is Read. I have had both of them on the booktube at least once before, and I just absolutely adore both of them and their channels so much. I will have both of them linked down below. I think it's gonna be a really fun time to have these 2 on and talk about this book. Like, I hope it's something that we all end up loving. And then for the month of October, I had my Patreon vote between these 3 books here, and like, oh my god, this was the closest poll I've ever had for a booktube pick, because we had 2 books that ended up tying, and then I had to post another follow-up poll to see which book would win that, and that one ended up being really close as well. But the book that was finally selected is gonna be 13 Months Haunted by Jimmy Giuliano, and this is a new horror book that I'm so excited to be reading for the booktube in October, because this is from the same author as Dead 11, which is another horror book that I really enjoyed. And so I can't wait to get into this one. All I know is that this one takes place in like the early 2000s, I think. It says we're following this librarian who can tell right away that there's something strange about the new girl in 8th grade. Apparently there are like a bunch of rumors that they think this girl's mom is a witch, and it says, did her family really used to live in a haunted house? It says Piper quickly realizes that this might just be the worst decision she's ever made because there's something dark inside Avery Wallace and it's spreading. Dude, I don't know what to expect with this book. Like, tone-wise, I have no idea what I'm getting myself into, but I can't wait to read this. It sounds like it'll be so much fun. I'm also so excited to have 2 booktube friends join me for this live show as well. I'm gonna have my friend Elizabeth from Reading Riley join this live show, which I have had her on the booktube before, and she's an amazing friend here on booktube. And then I'm also gonna have Alexis from Alexis Fully Booked on the booktube, and I've never had Alexis on the live shows before, so I'm very excited to have Alexis on the channel, and I really hope that this is one one that we all end up loving. I will have both of their channels linked down below if you want to go and check them out. Yeah, I am very excited for some of these upcoming BookTube picks. I feel like we've got some good ones on our hands, and I hope that both of these go so well. You'll have to let me know if you plan to join in on both of these reads. So as I mentioned, September is going to be an absolutely crazy busy month for me because my sister is going to be getting married in September, and then I have a bunch of family that's going to be like flying out in the month of September for almost like 2 weeks. So I am going to be taking a little bit of a BookTube break during the month of September, but I'm going to be filming a ton of content in advance so that it doesn't feel like I'm gone, and I'm still going to be doing a decent amount of reading vlogs. I mean, one of the first reading vlogs that you're going to see from me in September is going to be a 24-hour readathon with my friend Brittany. It's going to be kind of similar to the one we did last time where we do 12 hours one day and then 12 hours the next day. And because I'm insane, I have a massive TBR for this video. Like, I don't know how many of these books I'll actually be able to get through, but this is the stack that I'm working with, as these are the ones that I'm going to try to prioritize during that reading vlog. I know absolutely for sure that one of the books I'll be reading for that vlog is What Hunger by Catherine Dang. This is a new horror book that I've just been so freaking excited to read. I've heard a lot of people compare this book to The Eyes Are the Best Part, which is like one of my favorite horror books of last year. So I cannot wait to read this one, and I actually just got the audiobook checked out from my library, so like I know for sure this one will be happening. Another book that I'm going to try to prioritize is this one called Winging It With You by Chip Pons, and this one is a romance book that I've also been hearing some really great things about. I wanted to read this one because I heard one of the guys in this romance book is a pilot, which I think is very fun, and then I think it also involves like a reality show, and they're gonna have to be like fake dating. I've heard that the reality show is kind of like The Amazing Race, which is one of my favorites, so it definitely has me excited to pick up this one. I also really would like to read Lucky Day by Chuck Tingle. This one is another new horror release that just came out, and I'm just so curious about this one, so I think I'm gonna read this during the 24-hour reading vlog. I also have the book Bittersweet. This is one that I also just got the audiobook checked out for, so like there's a higher chance that I'll probably try to get to this one. And this one is more of like a literary fiction book about this woman who gets involved with this like older man, I think. I don't know if he's like a teacher. I can't remember exactly, but this is one that I've had on my radar for a while. I also have The Hounding. It's a book that I've recently picked up, and I thought that this one might be perfect for like a 24-hour readathon because the words are kind of ginormous. And then also this book is like not even that long. It's only about like 220-ish pages, so I feel like this one might be good for a readathon. I don't really know too much about this one like genre-wise. I do think it's kind of like horror but like historical fiction. It says The Crucible meets the Virgin Suicides in this haunting debut about 5 sisters in a small village in 18th century England whose neighbors are convinced they're turning into dogs. Like, what do you mean they're turning into dogs? I need to know. And then I actually do have 2 recent books that I picked up from Book of the Month last month that I'm very tempted to read during this readathon. One of them is Seduction Theory, and this is one that I think would be perfect for a readathon because it's so short. This one's just over 200 pages, and this one just says, when 2 married professors tiptoe towards infidelity, their transgressions are brought to a light in a graduate student's searing thesis project. It sounds like it could be a banger, and I really, really love this cover. I think it's so beautiful. And then in the month of September, I'm also planning on working on a horror novellas reading vlog. How many horror novellas can I read within 48 hours? Like that kind of a thing. And so I do have a giant stack of like potential books that I'm going to be reading for this one, but I also do have a lot of them on my Kindle. I mean, one of the books that I'm hoping to read is this one called My Name Isn't Paul, and this one is actually an ARC that I have because it doesn't go on sale until November, I think, but I'm going to be reading this one on my Kindle for that video, and I cannot wait because I've heard that My Name Isn't Paul is like cosmic horror, and I think it involves doppelgangers or something. I don't really know, but I can't wait. I'm obsessed with this cover. And then I'm also going to plan to read Elegy for the Undead. This is one that I got as an audiobook from my library, but I believe that this one is a horror novella that involves like zombies somehow, or it's like a romance within a zombie apocalypse. Like, I don't really know, but I've been hearing great things about this one over the years. I'm also going to be reading this book called Thrum, and this one is available on Kindle Unlimited. And I've heard from my friend Brittany, like, I don't know anything about this book, but she told me, oh my god, it's a horror sci-fi novella that's like absolutely insane, and she's been pushing me to read it. So I'm like, you know what? Yes, let's do it. Sign me up. I might also be reading the book Goddess of Filth for that video because this is another horror book that I've been seeing around, and I'm able to get the audiobook from my library, so this one's gonna be a go. And then I've also been thinking maybe about reading some Mia Ballard for that video. I might read her book We All Rot Eventually because that one is a horror novella that's also on Kindle Unlimited, I think. And then there's this new book called Tantrum that this one's 192 pages, so it is on the shorter side, and this might be something I include in that, as well as Pocket Knife Kitty. This is another one that I've been hearing about, mostly from Kayla from Books and Lala. I think she read this one and really liked it, so ever since she read it, I've been so curious to check this one out. So yeah, those are the potential horror novellas that are on my TBR for that video. I can't wait. I'm also planning on doing another round of the Backlist Bonanza where the Spin the Wheel chooses book books off of my backlist to read. So that video is going to be coming in the month of September as well. I actually posted an Instagram story to ask like what kind of reading vlog you would like to see from me next, and that one won by like a lot. So I'm glad to know that people seem to really be enjoying the spin the wheel backlist episodes because I have a lot of fun with them. And then also, while my family is here in town, you know, because everybody's coming out for the wedding, and I mean, I haven't asked them this yet, so like I don't know if it's gonna happen or not, but I had the idea that it would be really fun to have each one of my family members, like my cousins, pick books off of my shelf for me to read, and I'll do a video that's kind of themed around like my family controls my TBR for a week or something like that. So that could be a video that I'm working on if everybody in my family is like down to participate, and that would probably not be coming out until probably the early days of October. And so jumping into my October TBR, I mean, October is gonna be a crazy, insane month for me because not only, you know, does Taylor Swift have her new album, The Life of a Showgirl, coming out October 3rd, like first thing, you can guarantee I'm probably gonna get put into a reading slump because I feel like every single time Taylor Swift drops new music, naturally I fall into a reading slump because my brain, my two brain cells, cannot focus on anything else. But I'm very excited for the new Taylor Swift album, and I am planning on doing a full reaction video to this album with my sister on Patreon. I've done this now for like her last few albums, and we always have so much fun doing like a full reaction to them. The other thing that I'm so excited to share with you is that in the month of October, I'm going to be going to New York with my friend Gavin. You might know my friend Gavin from Gavin Reads It All. He's actually the one that I went to Japan with, and he reached out to me at the end of last year and he's like, hey, any chance you'd want to go and travel to New York together next year? And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, that is my dream for a friend to come to me and be like, hey, let's go to New York. New York is one of my favorite places in the entire world, and so I'm so excited to be going back to New York for the third time. And on this trip, it's going to be so fun because we're going to be not only going to Manhattan, New York, but then we're also going to be visiting Sleepy Hollow. And so I probably will have 2 different vlogs in the month of October for when I'm in New York, because I'll probably do one vlog when we're in Manhattan area and then a second vlog for when we're in Sleepy Hollow. And I have been thinking a lot about like which books I want to read while I'm there in New York because I don't know what to do. But I thought, you know, while I'm in Sleepy Hollow, I thought it might be fun to read this book that I just got called The Haunting of Payne's Hollow. And this one is actually an ARC copy that I have. This book goes on sale in October. But I thought this one could be fun to read while in Sleepy Hollow because of the whole like, you know, Payne's Hollow thing. It says that this book is a supernatural horror about a haunted lakeside property and twisted family secrets. So like this one is definitely a contender for something that I might read while I'm in Sleepy Hollow. I think like this one might have the perfect vibes, but if you can think of any other books that might have like great vibes to read while I'm in Sleepy Hollow, like I am all ears, please let me know. I also do have some like fall romance books that I'm hoping to get to that maybe I'll read while I'm like in New York or maybe on the plane to New York. I mean, one of the ones I was thinking about is this one called The Honeycrisp Orchard Inn. This one is an ARC that I have. It goes on sale at the end of September, but this one just looks so freaking cute. And it says that this is for fans of the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, which was one of the most perfect fall reads ever, so I definitely have high hopes about this one. This one says, this cozy and sexy romance follows a young event planner who returns to her family's inn on an apple orchard to help run their harvest festival, only to find herself butting heads with the handsome son of the apple orchard's owners. It sounds like it's gonna be so cute, and like look at how perfect and fall vibes this cover is. There's also this book called It's Different This Time, and this is a romance book that I'm really looking forward to, and I think this could be perfect to read while I'm in New York because this book not only takes place in New York, but I think it also is gonna have like major fall vibes. At least the cover looks like it does, so I feel like this could be another one to read in New York. So that's what I'm thinking. And then also in the month of October, I am planning to do another round of like reading some creepy horror books in the dark. If you missed the video from last year that I did, that was when I read Incidents Around the House, and I had so much fun. Reading the horror books in the dark really does make such a difference on like how much I enjoy them, so I definitely wanted to like bring that concept back for another video in October. I'm actually not too sure which horror books I want to read in the dark for that video, but some that I've been thinking that could be fun. I mean, I could do 13 Months Haunted, you know, like this might be one that would be more fun to read in the dark, so maybe I can include this. Another one that I was thinking about that comes out in October, I think, is the one called Itch. This is a book that I've definitely been very excited to check out, and so maybe that one would be good to read in the dark. But if there are any like new release horror books that you think would especially be fun for me to read in the dark, then definitely let me know because I do not have my TBR set in stone for that video. I also want to do another round of like Reddit horror book recommendations kind of a video because that Reddit video that I did ended up going so well, and it seemed like a lot of people were really excited about the idea of me doing more of like a video series. And so I did find this Reddit horror book recommendation thread that was specifically for like haunted house horror, and I found 4 books on this list that I have been really excited to read or I've never heard of, but I'm like, oh my god, that sounds so good. So I'm not going to spoil the TBR for that potential video. I mean, I will let you know one of them is Gallows Hill by Darcy Coates. And I really want to read this one because I've been wanting to read more of Darcy Coates. I feel like she's a very hit or miss author for me, but I feel like this one gets a lot of high praise. And so that's one of the 4 books that I might be reading for that video. And hopefully this will be out in the month of October. And I know that this is a lot, like maybe to the point where it's unrealistic for how much I'm going to be doing in October, for how busy that I'll be. But I also really want to do another round of like reading vampire books because there have been so many books publishing recently and coming out soon that deal with vampires. And I just really want to do another vampire vlog. And I feel like October might be like the perfect time to do that. I mean, one of the books that I would love to get to is actually the Interview with the Vampire sequel. I can't remember exactly what the sequel is called for this book, but I've been seeing so many people saying that this sequel is so good and that it's even better than Interview with the Vampire. And because I loved Interview with the Vampire so much, I feel like now would be a really good time to jump into the sequel. I also really desperately want to read The Good Vampire's Guide to Blood and Boyfriends. This one just sounds like it's gonna be so cute. And this one, I think it's a YA queer romance between these 2 boys that are vampires, or maybe only one of them is a vampire, I don't know. But it looks so cute, it looks so fun. There's also, you know, The Buffalo Hunter Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones, which at first I was not that interested in reading because Stephen Graham Jones has been very hit or miss for me lately, but I've been seeing so many people just absolutely love this book, and the fact that it involves vampires really intrigues me. I mean, I am a little bit nervous because it's like very historical and like that's not always my thing, and sometimes Stephen Graham Jones, like his writing just doesn't always appeal to me, but this one does sound like it could be up my alley, so like I'm thinking about that one for this video, as well as Coffin Moon. Oh my god, this one is a vampire book that just sounds like it's gonna be so cool, and I really love this cover. There's also like the sequel to Bride that's gonna be coming out in the month of October or maybe November, but I think the sequel is called Mate, and I believe that this one is also going to involve vampires, or maybe it's just werewolves. I don't know, I'd have to look into it, but like that's another option for that video. So yeah, I do think it would be very fun to try and do another vampire vlog. I also have a few books that I haven't mentioned that I might try to squeeze into some videos or just squeeze into my reading at some point. Like The Unseen by Anya Alborn is a horror book that I'm really hoping to get to. I mean, maybe this will be one that I try to get to during my 24-hour reading vlog that I do, because I'm just so curious about this one, and I saw that the audiobook that's going to be coming out is a full cast audiobook, so I am so intrigued. I love that this one says it takes place in Colorado. It says a mother reeling from a devastating loss is beside herself with grief when a mysterious orphan appears on the outskirts of their secluded Colorado property. Although strange and unexplainable, the child's presence breathes new life into her, but as they settle in, her husband Luke and their 5 children notice peculiarities that hint at something far beyond the ordinary, anomalies that change the very fabric of reality itself. What? This sounds like it could be absolutely amazing, so I definitely want to read this one in the fall. I also have the sequel slash prequel for We Love You Bunny by Mona Awad. This is a book that I'm so excited and also so terrified to read this book because, you know, I'm a really big fan of Bunny by Mona Awad, and this book just came out, and it says Frankenstein meets Heathers in this dazzling, hilarious, and deliciously dark follow-up. I don't really know what this book is about. I don't know anything because I didn't want to look into it. And huge thank you to my friend Kelly, by the way, who ended up sending this arc to me. Like, you are so kind, so generous. Thank you. I'm very intimidated by this book, and I can't believe how long this is. Like, why is this book like 470 something pages? I just really hope it's worth it, and I hope that it blows my socks off, but I'm hoping to read this one at some point this fall. And then lastly, another book that I had to add to my TBR for this fall is this one called I Was Feeling Epic, and it's an oral history of the Vampire Diaries. I just recently got into the Vampire Diaries within the last year, and now I have since watched it 2 times, and I've watched the originals 3 times, and it's completely taken over my life. So I was so excited when I saw that this book was getting published. This book says it's a deliciously nostalgic look into the creation and legacy of the hit show, and it's kind of cool because almost this entire book is told in like interview style with all of the actors and the cast from the show, and there's even like photos and stuff from the cast in the middle of this. Like, it looks so cool. So I was thinking this fall it would be a really great experience for me to get to read this book and get to like fangirl even more over this show that I love. I mean, gosh, I am so freaking tempted to rewatch the Vampire Diaries again this fall. It's gonna take everything in me to hold back from doing that. You know what I am watching for the first time with my mom is Gilmore Girls, and I feel like that's also gonna be like the perfect thing for me to watch this fall. So we are having a lot of fun watching Gilmore Girls, and I'm really looking forward to finishing the rest of that show. Those are all of the books that are on my TBR for the months of September and October. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that fall in like spooky season is upon us. Air is getting crispy and colder, and it just feels right. Do you like this little ghost that I recently just got on my bookshelf? I got this at Marshall's for only $10, and there's a switch on the bottom that you can flick and the eyes light up in the dark. How cute is that? Oh, I'm just so excited for all things spooky. You'll have to let me know, what books are you planning to read in September and October? And if you've read any any of the books that I talked about in this video, please do let me know your thoughts on them. Let me know what you're most excited for this spooky season, and also let me know if you're planning on joining along with the booktube discussions for these upcoming months. Thank you so much for watching, as always, and I will see you very soon with another video. Bye!